What's up, guys? Welcome to your 181st Android tutorial for the new Boston. What we're going to do is basically polish up this cube class, because again we worked with 2D previously and now we have to change everything to 3D, which isn't going to be difficult. And we're also going to talk about why we winded our faces clockwise and what purpose that has. So cover a few things in this tutorial. It's going to be pretty quick and pretty simple. All we're going to do is just kind of double check everything. So we're putting all of our vertices, even though we have more vertices, so that's good. And we're also taking all of our floats from our list times 4 as well, so it's not going to be 24 anymore. If you guys put 24 right here the last time, you want to change it so it updates and locates all all those bytes of data that we're going to be using. And it's the same for our indice or index list here. So again, we're just timesing that by 2 bytes for short, and we're putting all those values within our buffer. And now all we have to do is we have to double check everything down here. Yeah, everything looks pretty good except for this vertex pointer, because again we were working with 2D before, so we just want to change that to 3 dimensions. We just want to change that to 3 dimensions, and again we aren't skipping anything, so our stride's going to be 0. Still working with floats and the same buffer. And then also, yeah, we're working with triangles, so that's good. And we're also inputting the length of our indices, so that's good as well. And everything else looks pretty good. So it looks like our cube is updated, and we'll be able to draw this cube in 3D. But let's just quickly talk about why we winded those surfaces clockwise. Because again, all the inside faces of that cube are never going to be seen, unless if our camera is inside the cube, obviously. But why would we even try and render the inside surface of each triangle when we aren't even going to look at it? So that's what we're going to use culling for. And basically we're going to say, hey, don't even worry about the back side of the face, because we established which side is the front side by the clockwise. That's why we were so tedious in setting up our triangles. So now what we can do is we can set up culling. So we're going to say gl.glenable, gl.glenable, and we're just going to refer to the gl10 class .gl_ cull face. That's just going to allow us to be able to kind of remove the back of the face and not worry about that. So how we do that now that we've enabled it is we're just going to say gl.gl cull face, and we have to refer to which face we want to ignore for the most part, so we're just going to say gl10.gl back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom and just disable that as well. So gl.gl disable, and again the gl10 class .gl cull face. So there we go. That's what culling does, is we can remove or not worry about one face if it's never going to be seen. And that's the basic setup there. We just had to enable it and then tell it what face we wanted to ignore and then disable it. So let's render it, check that out, see what's going on, make sure our square looks good, or our cube. Why do I keep saying that? Oh man, just editing that last video, I'm like, I need to go back to like 3rd grade geometry, because I kept calling cubes squares and triangles cubes and all that stuff. Alright, it looks like something's messed up. I must have messed up on one of our triangles, but as you can see, for the most part we're getting some sort of a cube. And as you can see here, this is what we're going to do in the next tutorial, is learn about rotation, and it's going to be pretty simple and pretty easy. But I'll see you guys then, and have a What's up, guys? Welcome to your 182nd Android tutorial for the new Boston. And just quickly to show you guys what error I was having, for this one I said 631 and it's supposed to be 632. So if you guys followed along exactly like me and jumped off the same bridge, well, that's the error you want to fix. And what we're going to do in today's tutorial is basically add some rotation to our object, so we can kind of see that it is 3-dimensional. And it's going to be pretty simple. So we're going to go into our renderer class, whether you guys created a new renderer for our cube renderer or not. We're just going to add some rotation. And how we do this is pretty simple. We're just going to say GL, again relating to the GL10 object that we're going to pass in. We're going to say GL rotate. And we're going to use the F for float. And the first parameter here is the angle. So we're just going to say, I don't know, whatever angle you guys want. And then we're going to say which axes it affects. So if you guys want it to, the rotation to affect the x-axis, we can just put like 1. And if we don't want it to affect the y-axis, we're going to put 0, and the z-axis will also have it affect that as well. Or actually, let's just do 0 as well for that. And there we go, we add some rotation, and let's just copy this and paste it as well. And this time we're going to add like a rotation to the z-axis, something like that, just so you guys know you can break it up as well. Put 1 here, and let's just run it, see how that looks. And I'm also going to show you guys another just quick tip that you can actually relate to the actual time. It was what you're going to want to do when you're working with like velocities and such. You don't want to just have it run off the system because your CPU might be slowing down and all that good stuff. So you actually want to run it off of real time instead of CPU time. So hopefully we can run this application. It's kind of taking a while here. And the emulator crashed. Awesome. So hopefully that wasn't our fault, but I don't think it was. Alright, it's about time. And also, we're probably only going to do a few more OpenGL tutorials. Like I said, I'll probably show you how to texture that triangle, and then we're going to get into just some easy stuff for the most part. So as you can see, it's rotated a little bit in the X direction and a little bit more in the Y or the Z direction. So, you know, that's cool, but we want it to rotate consistently. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate according to time. And this is a little method or a trick that I learned from basically the Google developer page. Again, I'd highly suggest by now you guys can probably read through some of that code and learn a lot through the sample code that they have to offer. But what we're going to do is we're going to set up a variable called time, and it's going to be a long. I'm just going to say long time like that, and we're just going to refer to the system clock. So again, just system clock. I believe we did something like this with our stopwatch application, and we're just going to say dot update time, and we're going to get the modulus of this. So we're going to divide it by 4000 L, and then we're going to say float angle, and we're going to set this equal to 0.009 F times the nth value of time. So there we go. Now we have our angle set up, which is going to change according to the actual time. Like I was talking about, when you guys develop games, you want to refer to your game according to real time instead of system time, because again, the CPU can slow down and you know, your game won't play very well. So you'd rather refer to something that actually relates to real time, something like this setup here. And all we're going to do for angle is we're just going to say angle here as well, which I guess we can just say, you know, 1 or 2. So now it'll spin a little bit faster in the Z direction as well. So let's just run it, and hopefully we get this to work. Doesn't crash our emulator again. And again, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. As you can see, add some rotation, which is being updated by real time. So there you go. That's pretty much your introduction for the 3D OpenGL stuff. I know it went kind of slow, but hopefully you guys understand OpenGL a little bit more. And then we're going to get into texturing that triangle, and then probably something else. And then we're just going to wrap everything up, add some ads to our application, and put it on the marketplace. So that's what you guys have to look forward to, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Hope you have a good one. See you later. What's up, guys? Welcome to your 183rd Android tutorial for the new Boston. What we're going to do is, I told you guys we'd get into texturing. I was going to like print a bitmap on the triangle or something like that. But you know, that'll probably take up too much time, and we've been doing a lot of GL stuff or OpenGL stuff. So we're just going to, you know, print some colors on our triangle instead. and hopefully we can get everything done within this tutorial. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to open up our GL Triangle class, and we're going to set up a new array that's going to hold our values for each vertex, each vertice here. Each vertice will have a different color value. They'll kind of blend together. You can see how that works. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this float here, and we're going to change this to our RGBA for red, green, blue, alpha values, something like that, or just vals. And obviously this is going to take 4 values for each vertex: a red value, a green value, a blue value, and an alpha value. So let's just try and create something. So we're going to have it be completely red and completely green, and then no blue, and maybe 0.5 for alpha, so half transparent. For our first vertice, man, it's getting way too late here, and I don't really know what colors these are going to be. I'm always terrible with colors, so we're just going to kind of wing it. And then next one we're going to say like a 0.25 F for the red. For the green we're going to have 0. For the blue we're going to say like 0.85, something like that. And then we'll have a full alpha, so it's completely opaque instead of transparent. And then we also have to put F here, I'm sorry. And then for our last vertice, let's say 0, 1, 1, and 1 as well. So there we go, just basically our red, green, blue, and alpha values. And again, we have to set up a buffer for this, so it's going to be a float buffer as well, since we're working with floats here. So we're just going to call this color buff. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to copy one of these buffers down here, because again we just need a byte buffer as well. Pretty much everything is the same, except we're going to change this from PB to just T for to C for color, and also this one to C. And we also have to change this to a float buffer instead of a short buffer, and this to C as well. And also we need to get the length of our new array that we set up here, which we called RGBA vals. So that's just going to get the length, and we times that by 4 because again they're floats. So I know we're going kind of quick, but this is all kind of review for the most part. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our a color buffer to be this float buffer for all these as well. So again, we're just going to insert our colors, so it's RGBA vals there, and then we're just going to move to position 0, and then we're good to go. Now what we need to do is we need to go within our onDraw method, because this is where we're actually going to draw our triangle and all that good stuff. And what we need to enable is the color array. So we're just going to say gl.gl, let's see if I can get it, gl enable client state, and it's going to refer to the gl10.gl underscore color array. And then we also have to disable this, so we're just going to go below where we draw our element and just say disable client state, and again we're just going to refer to the gl10 class dot gl underscore color array. And then we also have to set up our pointer for our colors for each vertex and all that good stuff. So right below or right above our draw elements and below our vertex pointer, we're just going to say gl color pointer down here. And again, it takes a size, so the size is going to be how many dimensions we're working with. Since we have a red value, a green value, a blue value, and an alpha value, there's 4 dimensions or 4 things within per line that it's looking for. The type again is a float, so we're just going to say gl10.gl underscore float, and the stride with 0, and the pointer is the pointer that we set up called color buff. And there we go. Let's just try and run it. Hopefully everything works. I don't think we need to set up anything within our renderer class. So yeah, our renderer class should be fine. We don't have to change anything there. And there we go. We have this crazy looking triangle with different colors for each one, and that's pretty much it for the OpenGL stuff. I know we went kind of quick through the colors here, but hopefully, you know, it's kind of repetitious enough where you understand what these buffers are doing, how to set them up. Again, all we had to do is we had to enable the color array and disable it as well, and then we also had to set our pointer. And you know, that's pretty much it for these tutorials. And we're going to move on to something, you know, not as complex, just like some small tutorials, like 1 or 2 tutorials to complete whatever we're trying to do. And then, you know, we're going to be pretty much done here soon. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Have a good one. What's up, guys? Welcome to your 184th Android tutorial for the new Boson. And thank goodness we're done with all that OpenGL stuff, because it's time to go into something a little bit easier, you know, kick your feet up, relax a little bit. And as you can see, this is what we're pretty much doing. You're like, what? You ruined it. You ruined our application. It's white now. Or what do? You just set the background to white? Well, kind of. This is a theme. And, you know, we can apply different themes to different activities, which we've kind of done with our About Us, if you guys remember. With our About Us section, when we did our menu and then About Us or whatever, that was a theme that we applied. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about pretty much the other themes that they have, such as like the text play. Whoa, transparent. There's not. You can still see the background of the activity behind this activity, and this one still works. You know, we can do all of our commands and stuff. Still hit back, and there we go. We can also do, let's see here, forgot which ones I applied it to. Yeah, black background, pretty much the same stuff, or pretty much looks the same there, but let's get into it. It's gonna be pretty simple, pretty easy, so look forward to that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna either pick out a few applications, or we can actually apply the theme to the whole application. I'm sorry. We can apply a theme to a specific activity, which we've done with our About Us activity, or we can apply it to our whole application. So you can keep that in mind as well. So we're just going to pick out a few, such as the menu. We're going to set up this to be the white or the light theme. So again, how we do this is we're just going to go within our opening bracket here. So make sure you're within this part of the activity line, and then we're just going to say Android theme is equal to at Android style swagga, as they call it, and then we just apply our theme by going theme dot light, for example. Light is the white background that I just showed you, that I applied to the whole activity, I think. Or the whole application, I should say. So again, just to do that, you can just cut this line here, or cut it and paste it right within, again, our opening application line here. So again, give yourself some space, paste it if you want your whole application. Oops. Spoiler alert. Oh, jeez. Alright, so this will basically apply this light theme to our whole application instead of individual activities. So you could do that. I'm not going to. But let's see some of the other ones. So again, I'm just going to copy this line of code, and we're going to go into our starting point activity, and again, give us some space within the opening bracket here, paste, and what is another method called? Well, we have translucent. Really hope I can spell. Oh man, I knew I should not recopy that light one. Alright, so there we go. There's the translucent one. That's the clear background. You can see behind it, all that good stuff. And lastly, at least lastly that I know of, there's one called just black, which is basically just a black background. Sometimes by default, people, depending on which platform they're running on, will have kind of a grayish background, and this will just make it black. So that's why you might want to call that command. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. I'm going to delete this because I don't really like the look of it, the light, but you know, it can be pretty cool in certain activities and such. So it's always good to keep that in mind, to customize your apps a little bit differently than everyone else on the marketplace. So hopefully you can do that with some themes, and I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. See you later. What's up, gangsters? Welcome to your 185th Android tutorial for the new Boston. And what we're going to be doing is building basically a voice recognition activity. We're going to speak in. It's going to, interpret what we say and put it into a list of some sort. So let's just get started. I created a class called Voice, extends activity, and onClick listener. Set up our onCreate method to the set content view of an XML file that we're going to create called Voice. Let's set that Voice XML file up real quickly. It's just going to be a button that they're going to press to speak. And we're also going to put a list view within there. So we're going to go to composite and then list view, throw that in there, make it fill. Whoa, that was crazy. Format and height, we're going to change to fill parent for a list. And for a button, we're going to call it button voice. And for our list view, we're going to say LV voice return. So again, nothing new for the most part. Again, when we started, if you guys remember, we did a list view, and you guys were probably pretty confused at that time, but hopefully this time when we go through this list view, it'll be a little bit easier, a little bit simpler as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a list view that our whole class can use. So we're just going to say list view LV, add our imports, and there we go. We're also going to set up our list view to have that reference bridge or whatever. Find view by ID, r.id.listViewVoice, and we're going to set up our button as well. So button B, set that equal to our button within our view there. So button voice, set that up, add our imports, set our onClick listener, and we're just going to say this as well. Now basically all we're going to do is have this button open up the voice recognition intent, and then we're going to have also a method that's going to return some data to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go to source, override implement methods, and we're just going to look for on activity result, and it takes in again 3 ints, or 2 ints and an intent I should say, and we've used this before as well, but the new thing is again the voice recognition. So I'm just going to move this down to the bottom just because I don't know, I just like my onClick listeners or my click listener to be closer to the create method. I don't know, I'm just weird like that. Again, basically within this onClick, all we're going to do is we're going to set up an intent. We're going to call this I, and we're going to set this equal to new intent. And again, I told you guys that they have a lot of default intents, so I'm going to try and go through a few of them maybe. But this one's going to be recognize their intent dot action, and we're going to recognize speech. So that's basically, if you guys want to read through, I'm just going to kind of go quickly through this, but obviously recognizes speech. Hopefully that's what it does. Otherwise it's kind of a weird name for that. And then what we're going to do is we're also going to kind of determine what language has been which language is being spoken. So we're just going to say I.put extra, and then we're going to refer to again the key and the value, and the key reference is going to be again the recognizer intent dot extra, and we're going to say language. We're going to say language model for our key reference, and for a value what we want it to do again refer to the recognizer intent, and we're going to have it refer to the language model free form. So that's basically going to be the value. Again, it's just kind of fine-tuning everything, getting, you know, the specific language, fine-tuning it that way as well. And this basically, this extra that we're adding to our intent is required when we use this action recognized speech. So just keep that in mind if you guys are doing recognition. Then we can also put in like an extra prompt or something that we want to tell the user of our application. So we're just going to say extra and then recognition class again, or recognizer intent, and we're going to say dot extra underscore prompt, and then we can just say speak up son, something like that. So that's just the extra prompt, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to say, you know, we got to start that activity for the result. That should be nothing new, and we're going to pass in our intent and also basically something else that we're going to have to check for, and we're probably going to get into that in the next tutorial. So as for now, I'm just going to leave it as that, and you guys should check out the next tutorial where we're probably going to finish this little activity here. So have a good one, guys. See you later. What's up, guys? Welcome to your 186th Android tutorial, I believe it is. And what we're going to do in this tutorial is basically get you know, our result from the activity that we started, which again is a voice recognition activity. And you know what the second parameter is basically a way that we can check that works out. Again, we've worked with the request code, so we want to make sure that checks out as well. But what we're going to do is we're just going to set up a variable that's going to be static final, not going to change here. It's going to be an int. We're going to call this check, and we're just going to set this equal to like 111, something like that. And now what we're going to do is, again, we're going to pass in with our intent check. Alright, so again, what we're doing, all we're doing is we're just passing in the request code and all that good stuff. And so our request code we're passing in is 111, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go within this on activity result and give us some space to work here, and we're just going to create an if statement like we have previously. We're just going to say as long as request code is equal to basically our check. It has to be request code, sorry. It's equal to check, or if it's equal to 111, then we're good. So we're just going to say check, and we also want to make sure the result's okay, so we're just going to say and we want to make sure our request code, or I'm sorry, result code is equal to result okay, and that should be familiar. So there we go. As long as those things are cool, they check out, then we're going to basically try and fill our list array, or fill our list view here that we set up. And what we're going to do is we're going to collect the data from our activity result, and how we're going to do that is through an array list, and it's going to be of the type string. And what we're going to say is results is equal to the data, which again is the intent that's being passed in. We're just going to say dot get, and we have a lot of options. We can say like get string or something. We can say get string extra, but since we're setting up a list array, we're just going to say get array list extra. So we're going to set that up, and then we have to refer to basically the extras of our recognizer intent. So again, we're just going to say recognizer intent dot, and we're going to look for the extras. So we're going to say extras, or extra results basically. So it's just the results, and there we go. We basically have a array list set up. Going to add our imports, make it happy, and then all we're going to do is we're going to set up our list view to this array list. So we're going to say our list view, which we called LV, and we're just going to say dot set adapter. Again, we don't have an adapter, so we're going to say new array adapter of the type string, because again we're working with a string array list. And then we're just going to say the context of the class, and then the type of layout for our array list, and we're just going to refer to the default. I know it's been a while since we worked with array list, but android.r.layout .simple underscore list item 1, and the last parameter we're going to set to our results, which again is our array list that we set up right here. Results, sorry. Alright, and then we just have to import our array adapter, And we're pretty much done, guys. I believe this will work. So let's test it out. I'm not sure if it'll work on the emulator or not. It might have to be on the actual phone. And again, just to note, this isn't actually checking if the device has voice recognition installed on it. If you guys actually want to build a voice recognition software, you might want to look into how you check if the device has that capability or not. And I believe the Android developer page probably covers something like that as well. Most likely this is pretty similar to the actual the Android sample that they give you, because I don't really remember doing this, but this is kind of the layout of an activity I created when I was first starting to learn some of the Android SDK, so it's probably pretty similar to what the actual sample is. So alright, so let's see if this actually works here. Go to voice. Oh, crap. Alright, so it looks like the emulator doesn't have the voice recognition or something. So I'm going to test on my phone, make sure it works, and I'll let you guys know. You better work. Yeah, it looks like it works. It pulls up a list of things that it could be, like you better work, you better word, you better works, you better words, you bet awards, better word. So yeah, it will work for your phone as is. Again, we don't have the proof checking, so that's something you might need to know, otherwise it's just going to crash like the emulator did. But you know, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Hope you have a good one. See you later. What's up, guys? Welcome to your 187th Android tutorial for the new Boston. And since we just did, you know, speech recognition, now what we're going to do is we're going to allow our emulator or phone to talk back to us, so that it's going to be able to, you know, do text to speech. So what I did is I set up a class called text voice, and implements on-click listener, set the content view to basically our layout, which is just a button. So you can set that up, and then set up your button and set your on-click listener, and all that good stuff. So pretty basic. First thing that we're going to do after we have all those references set up and our on-click listener set up, we're going to set up what phrases we want our application to speak. So we're just going to say static final, and we could have done, like, you know, an edit text to get the input and then convert it to a string and read that. If you guys want to do that as well, you can. I just, you know, we're wrapping up here. I want to finish off a few different things here, but again, we're just going to say static final string array, and we're going to call this text. And then we just set up what we want our text to be here. And so we're going to say, like, something like, what's up, gangsters? Gangstas. And you know, whatever else we want. You smell. I have a crush on Travis. You know, that should be good for now. And for some reason I forgot again to hit equals, so there we go. We have to set what, you know, the text is equal to, which is, we have 3 things within here. You can add some more if you guys want, but whatever. So now we have some simple text. Now what we want to do is we also want to have a variable or instance of our text to speech type variable. So we're going to set that up. Up here it's going to be a text to speech type variable, and we're going to call this text to speech, something like that. Add our imports, and we're good to go. So let's jump into the onCreate method, where we're going to set up this text to speech. And also, actually, we also want to add a onPause method, because we don't want this, you know, text to speech thing on all the time. So you know, you might want to add that. In our onPause method, we're just going to disable that text to speech. So we're just going to say if text to speech is not equal to null, we're going to kill it, gangster style. Just going to hit .stop, and then tts.shutdown. So that's how we that's how we kill it there. Alright, so now that we know how to kill it, we want to actually be able to know how to set it up. So let's go into our onCreate method, and we're just going to say text to speech equals new text to speech This takes two things within its parameters. First one is the context, so we're just going to say our class name text voice dot this, and the second one is the listener. So if we would have implemented it, that's cool, but we're just going to say new text to speech dot and then on int or on initialized listener. So we're just going to click that, and it's going to set up basically, you know, the method that we need. So we're going to close off our statement, and this is the method that gets called, this on initialize or whatever. So, you know, that's the basic framework. We're probably going to end the tutorial here because we still have a lot to do, and you know, I don't want to get into it too much here. So I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. Hope you have a good one, and see you later. What's up, guys? How's it going? Alright, that's good to hear. Welcome to your 188th Android tutorial for the new Boston, where we're going to hopefully finish up this text-to-voice activity. What we're going to do within our initialization of our text-to-speech instance here, we're going to set the language that we want it to speak in, and right here, this should be status, just for reference. It's passing in a status, and that status refers to either being successful or it not working. So what we're going to do is going to say if status is not equal to text to speech dot error, then we're going to set up the language that we want it to speak in. So what we're going to do is just say text to speech dot set language, and we're going to set this to locale dot US, or you know, whatever language. There we go. So pretty simple. You guys can probably see those other choices we have, like China and all that other good stuff. So and there we go. We basically set up our language that we want our text to speech to speak in, and you know, that's good. So now all we have to do is set up our onClick method. Again, our button, when it clicks, we want it to read one of these choices up here. We have three choices. So what we want this to do is pick a random string out of our array up there called text. So what we're going to do is we're going to say random, r is equal to new random. Pretty familiar. And then what we're going to do, add our imports, and then we're just going to say string. We're going to call this random. Set this equal to our text array up there. So we're going to say text, and then basically which position. So we have position 0, 1, and 2. But we obviously just want a random position. So we're just going to say r dot next int, and we're going to pass in 3 because we have 3 options. Whoa. So there we go. Or we could again just say our like text array dot length that we kind of got familiar with in OpenGL. So there, that's kind of the choices that you can use to get a or that's just one option you can use to get a random text or a random string. And then all we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, text to speech, how about you talk? So we're going to say speak, and it takes, you know, 3 parameters, the text, so we're going to refer to our random text that we just set up, the Q mode, and what we're going to do here is we're going to say if anything else is talking at the moment, we want it to shut up for the most part, and so it can hear this new speech that it's going to give, and it's going to be a great speech. So we're just going to say text to speech dot Q. Whoops. Oh man, way too tired here. Q flush, and that's just again going to stop whatever's been talking. It's going to start a new speech, and for a third parameter we're just going to set equal to null. And there we go, we pretty much are done. Let's just check this out, see if it works, and again hopefully it works on the emulator. So let's go down here to our text voice.
What's up, gangsters?
What? That didn't sound like what's up, gangsters.
You smell.
You smell.
What's up, gangsters? You smell. I have a crush on Travis.
That's legit. Alright, well, you guys get the concepts. And I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you later. What's up, guys? Welcome to your 189th Android tutorial for the new Boston. What we're going to do in this tutorial, we're basically going to learn about the status bar and how to update it. You know, if you guys have a Droid phone, when you get a text message, you get a little image of a message and then like a little text. You can pull this down, see your notifications, click on it, it does something. This is basically the finished application. Pretty simple looking. We just hit a button and it displays like a lightning bolt, says "What's up, gangsters?" We click on our notification, or actually we're going to go out of our activity, scroll down, and as you can see, it has a title. It says "What's up?" and it says "What's up, gangsters?" Click on that. It opens back up this activity that we were just in, and you know, clears our notification. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. It's probably going to take 2 tutorials, maybe 3, but what I want you guys to do is create a drawable resource, or a PNG that is 24 pixels by 24 pixels. This is just going to be your icon. It's supposed to be a lightning bolt, but you know, I have no chance of being an artist ever. So yeah, just create something that's 24 pixels by 24 pixels, save it in your drawable folder, and we're going to get going here. So what we're also going to need is a new class called status bar, and a new layout that's just going to be one button called status bar as well. So there we go. Again, it's just going to extends activity, implements on-click listener, set up your button, set up your on-click listener, and we're good to go. The first thing that we're going to need is a notification manager. It's going to kind of will manage all of our notifications. We're going to clear specific notifications. Going to add that notification to our title or status bar. So that's what we're going to set up here for a whole class to use. We're going to call this notification manager. And we're just going to call this NM, and again add our imports, and let's set this up. What this notification manager is again going to do, just allow us to access that status bar and clear the notification and update it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say NM is equal to, again, notification manager, and we're just going to say get system service, and we're going to pass in notification service. So there we go. We basically set up our notification manager and all that good stuff. And now what we're going to do is we're again going to allow a pending intent, because once we add the notification to our taskbar, there's an intent that's waiting to happen, because it's going to launch our activity and it's just chilling there. It's like, hey guys, I'm an intent and I'm just hanging out, so whenever you guys need me, just hit me up, and we'll do that. So that's basically the pending intent. We worked with that with widgets as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a pending intent. I'm just going to call this PI. We're going to set this equal to pending intent class dot get activity. For the context, we're going to say this. For the request code, we're going to say 0. For the intent, let's set up a new intent up here called intent, so we don't have to change anything. Again, we're just going to refer to the class that it opens, so we're going to just say this is equal to new intent, and then the package name, we're going to say this, and the class name, so we're going to say status bar dot class. And if you guys want to change which class it opens, you can do that there. So that's the intent that we're having. For the flags, we're just going to set this equal to 0, and that's probably going to be the quick introduction for this. Like I said, it might take 1 more tutorial or 2 more, not for sure, depending on how elaborate I want to get into this, but I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. And again, just hopefully you guys understand kind of what the application is going to do, so we don't get too lost. It's not going to be too lengthy or hard or difficult or anything, but I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial, and have a good one. See you later. What's up, guys? Welcome to your 190th Android tutorial for the new Boston, where we're hopefully going to finish up this little activity here. Maybe 1 more tutorial, like I said, but what we're going to do now is within our onClick method, we're going to set up the text that we want to display. So we're just going to call this string, and we're going to call this body, because it's going to be the body of the text. And we're going to set this equal to whatever. So this is a message from Travis. Thanks for your support. Something like that, maybe. And then we're also going to set up a title. So we're going to say string and title. Set this equal to Travis C. And there we go. We have our title. And now what we need to do is we need to create a notification, and we need to tell it like which drawable object, you know, what the time is that we sent the notification, all that good stuff. So we're going to say notification, call this n, and we're going to set this equal to a new notification. And then we're going to refer to our drawable object, or that little icon that we set up. I'm going to say r.drawable .lightning is my reference. Your reference is probably different. Then we're going to say what the message of the notification is, so we're going to call that body, that text that we set up. And lastly, we're going to refer to what time this notification was sent. So we're going to refer to the system time. So we're just going to say system current time in milliseconds. And there we go. We have our notification set up. And then we're going to just add, you know, what details we want to our notification. We're going to set up the title and, you know, what intent we want it to open, or a pending intent, I should say. So we're just going to say n.setLatest event info. Referring to the context, we're going to say this. The title, we're going to refer to our title text. For the content text, we're again referring to our body, so we're going to say body. And lastly, our pending intent, which we call PI, or pending intent. So that's just going to set up our notification. You know, again, the body, the title, the body, and the intent that we want it to open. And then we're also going to set up basically how we want to notify the user. So we're going to say n.defaults, and we're going to set this equal to notification class. And then we have some options like the lights, the sound, vibration, all that good stuff. So we're going to choose the default all, which is basically the default sound and the default, or it will vibrate as well. We'll do both. So set that up, and then also, since we're using the vibrate, we're going to have to go into the New Boston manifest and add a vibrate permission. Again, you can just type this out, or just go to the permissions and say add use permission, and then you know, vibration, or vibrate I should say, and just add that permission to our manifest so our application won't crash. And that's probably it for this tutorial. I don't know exactly how much time we spent, but we'll finish it up in the next tutorial, because again we have to refer to our notification manager to handle some of the events that's going on and all that good stuff. So we'll finish up this little activity in the next tutorial, and I'll see you guys then. Hope you have a good one, and catch you later.